Hi, welcome back to Smart Ways to Live Well with Nuview Nutrition. Today we're going to talk to Erin, who's going to share her success story healing from Crohn's. But before we get started, let's just talk about Crohn's disease. Basically, Crohn's is an inflammatory bowel disease. It causes inflammation of your digestive tract, which can then lead to abdominal pain, severe diarrhea, fatigue, weight loss, and malnutrition. Inflammation caused by Crohn's disease can involve different areas of the digestive tract in different people. The inflammation caused by Crohn's disease often spreads deep into the layers of the affected bowel tissue, and Crohn's disease can be both very painful, debilitating, and sometimes may even lead to life-threatening complications. Signs and symptoms of Crohn's disease can range from mild to very severe. They usually develop gradually, but sometimes will come on very suddenly without any warning at all. You may also have periods of time when you don't have any signs or symptoms, and that's called remission. When the disease is active, signs and symptoms may include diarrhea, fever, fatigue, abdominal pain and cramping, blood in your stool, mouth sores, reduced appetite and unexplained weight loss, pain or discharge near and around the anus due to inflammation from a tunnel into the skin, which is known as a fistula. People with severe Crohn's disease may also experience inflammation of the skin, eyes, and joints, inflammation of the liver or the bile ducts. And delayed growth or sexual development in children can also be experienced. So Erin had a type of Crohn's that really affected her eyes and in other areas more than the gut, and she's going to share that story with us today. Hi, welcome back to Smart Ways to Live Well with Nuview Nutrition. Today Erin is here with us and she is going to share her journey with Crohn's disease. Crohn's disease affects millions of people each year in the United States. And she is here to share her story because it affects everybody a little differently. So welcome, Erin. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Cindy. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Good. We're excited to hear your story.
Well, I'm excited to share it. It's really, journey is a great way to describe it because it has been a process and a journey and a learning experience along the way.
Absolutely.
And I'm very grateful for all that Nuview has done for me because I feel pretty amazing today. And I think I had gotten accustomed to my old norm. I didn't realize how badly I was feeling until I started to make some changes and make some improvements. And now my new norm, I just feel amazing. And I didn't realize that I could feel this good dealing with the Crohn's. But it's really an interesting story. It was in my late 20s when I was diagnosed with Crohn's. And I know it affects people in different ways. For me, I didn't have so much of the digestive issues. I did have some bouts with diarrhea and things like that, like most people with Crohn's have. But for me, it really started, that chronic inflammation. I mean, I was dealing with inflammation in other parts of my body. I was having a lot of joint issues. And really what led for them to test to see what was going on was I was having inflammation with my eyes. I had iritis. It was a chronic issue. I was on steroid drops. I was on a lot of medications.
So what were you noticing when that was happening? What was the signs? What was going on?
I thought that I had pink eye. I think it was a Friday afternoon, and I went to an urgent care, and they said it's pink eye, and they gave me drops. And over the course of that weekend, I just felt miserable. The sunlight was just very painful for me. I had to wear glasses, sunglasses, like constantly. It was a deep pain, and the iris was inflamed. And I did not realize what was going on until that following Monday. I got in as quickly as possible to see an eye doctor, and they told me what was going on, which prompted some further testing. They didn't know what was going on.
So at that eye appointment, they weren't able to say, hey, this is related to Crohn's. They had to further investigate.
They needed to further investigate to see what was causing this inflammatory issue, but it is often associated with the uveitis or iritis. So that took me into some other appointments. As I mentioned, I was having a lot of lower back issues, sacroiliitis, so inflammation in the lower back with the sacroiliac joints. And so I was doing some physical therapy for that and started to see rheumatologists trying to kind of piece together and solve this puzzle why I was feeling the way that I was.
And leading up to that, What was your lifestyle like? And I remember you having a lot of stress somewhere
Absolutely.
when you were working in the corporate world.
I spent 12 years in corporate America, and I loved my job, my career. It was a big part of my identity, but I put in a lot of hours. Toward the end of my corporate America stint, I was putting in probably 70 hours a week.
Oh, man, that's a lot.
So,
and you have kids.
I have kids. They were infants at the time, so had a lot on my plate, and I was following kind of an American standard diet. I was eating a lot of processed foods, and I was eating out a lot. And there's a lot of sodium and those foods, and I thought I was eating healthy. I would eat some fruits and vegetables, but I was eating a lot of processed foods and some high sodium foods as well.
And when you eat out, there's so much that's not in our control.
Absolutely.
The food choices aren't as clean, even though you're making a good choice. The meats are still less quality, injected with antibiotics, and all of that can help the inflammation process, right?
Absolutely.
It can add to it.
And really, one thing, when I look back, it's a little disheartening, is of all the years that I saw gastroenterologists, they rarely ever asked me what my diet included and what I ate. They'd look at me and they say, "Oh, you eat healthy," and I thought, well, yeah, I do, but at that point in time, I thought I was eating healthy, and
until you learned how much healthier you could eat, right?
Absolutely. And it was when my younger daughter was in kindergarten that she was having some health issues, and I was told that she should go on a gluten-free, dairy-free diet. So we made the change as a family to this type of eating plan, and I started to realize that I felt better. I didn't feel gassy in the mornings, and I just felt better. And it seems strange to me that no one, a gastroenterologist had never recommended that I try something like that.
So once you got the eyes diagnosed, or they started investigating, and then how long did it take for you to actually be diagnosed with Crohn's, for them to put that together?
It's been quite a while, so it's hard to remember real clearly, but I would say it was over a period of months before they really pinpointed what it was. I went to see different specialists, and then they thought that was the most clear explanation. And then what was the action plan? Colonoscopy. Well, that I would be taking these, medications probably for the rest of my life, and a lot of immunosuppressants, and things that had a lot of side effects and didn't make me feel good. Yeah. I was on prednisone for a long time, and my face puffed up, and it helped with some of the symptoms, but it was causing other problems. And so I stayed on the medications really up until recent years, and working with you, getting my eating plan together and finding what works for me. I felt better and better, and I've also made some major lifestyle choices and changes in my life. I had a lot of stress with my corporate life, and so I took a little time off to have a focus on my family and spend more time with my two daughters. And I thought I would go back to my corporate life, and I discovered Pilates at that point in time. And I realized that for my joint health and just my overall health and well-being, that was a good fit for me, and I decided to pursue that as a career and be able to help others. So that was really instrumental for me as well.
Well, I just think too, we've seen so many changes, right? And your overall health, and I think you really identified how much even the stress was affecting you, and what role that played in the disease state.
It absolutely did, and it seemed like my worst bouts with the Crohn's were triggered by periods of stress in my life.
Because now, how long has it been since you've left corporate?
It has been about 9 years now.
Good.
Officially, since I made a big change in my life, and I have found a lot of other things that help me. Deep breathing, meditation, things like that have been very helpful as well, and just practicing gratitude on a regular basis as well. Yeah.
And where are you at today with your Crohn's?
It's in remission, and sometimes I go in for my colonoscopies and checks, and the gastroenterologists are floored. They're amazed, like, this isn't right. You're off your medications or on a very low, below therapeutic grade, and you're doing so well. And they want me to stay on the meds, and I've done really well tapering off, and I'm actually off the meds completely. I do take more of a natural approach. It's a natural alternative, low dose naltrexone, and I take that daily, and that seems to have helped to keep everything really under control.
Yep, and you've done a great job.
Thank you.
I know I've been seeing you for at least 3 years, and I really don't recall any major flares.
I haven't really had flares with the Crohn's.
No.
I've had a few, just other type of health bumps in the road, which is normal, and you've helped me to address those and get those under control as well.
Now, how's your eyes today?
My eyes are perfect.
And how's your hips?
Perfect.
Good.
Yep.
Great job.
So,
is there anything else you'd like to say today before wrapping it up?
well, I guess I would just like for people to kind of make their own assessments where they're at, and really think about what their eating plan entails. Because, like I said, I thought I was eating, a healthy diet, and it really wasn't the best option for me. And before I came to you, like I said, we had gone gluten-free, dairy-free as a family. I was starting to get to the right place on my own, but what I really needed was that fine-tuning.
The customization.
I was not absorbing my nutrients. I was eating healthy food, but I was not absorbing them properly. So you helped me to make some changes to make sure that I was absorbing, everything that I needed to.
Right.
And I feel amazing.
And it can make a difference. Just knowing what to do, and then in fine-tuning it for each person, because each person is so different.
Absolutely.
And your Crohn's is so different from the other clients that we deal with Crohn's. So there's no two people really the same. Even if they have the same condition, even in that condition, it's different.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome, Cindy, and thank you for having me today. And I just deeply appreciate all the help that you've given me over the past few years. And
you're so welcome.
I recommend that everyone that has an issue come to see you or one of your great staff at Nuview for assistance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in today, and we will see you next time on Smart Ways to Live Well with Nuview Nutrition.